What is up, guys? Another video, another football week, and as you know, my name's Nathan. This is Somewhat United with Nathan. Welcome back to the channel. Another week of football after an international break, which in the last international break, as we discussed, almost nobody cares about, but it's a break for us, especially when a team doesn't do well, Manchester United. And welcome back to the video. Another week of picks. Let's get into it. We have Newcastle United versus Chelsea. Chelsea looked really good last game week. Newcastle, as always, looks a little dodgy. Don't know what to expect. You don't know if they're going to have a worldie and beat somebody and upset them brutally, or they're just going to get smashed in. And I don't think Chelsea is going to get smashed by Newcastle, especially on the heels of their victory last week. I think, in fact, that it's going to be kind of brutal in Newcastle's direction, and I predict I think they're definitely going to at least put two past them. If they could score 4 last week, they're definitely going to put 2 past them. I'm going to go say 3-0. I think they're going to keep a clean sheet. They're going to keep Newcastle at bay as well. Put pressure and then counter-attack and, weave some magic on the attacking end of the pitch. Then we have Aston Villa versus Brighton, and Aston Villa's on a roll. I mean, they just... I don't know what to make of Arsenal anymore. They just beat Arsenal convincingly. And they're going to be taking on Brighton. And Brighton and Burnley had a snooze fest of a game. Aston Villa seem to be keeping things together nowadays, especially in the attacking end of the pitch with Ross Barkley, Jack Grealish and Ollie Watkins. And I think they're going to put on another clinic against Brighton, because Brighton do like to play football. Yes, they had a boring game against Burnley, but Sean Dyche is a very pragmatic manager, very defensive. So that's what you're going to get if you can't cut them open and score. Graham Potter likes playing football, so I think this is going to be an advantage. This is going to be a fun game. I think there'll be goals on both ends, I think. And I think, but I definitely think Aston Villa has the hot hand right now, and they're going to beat Brighton. Maybe 2-1. But I think it'll be more convincing than that, but I think it'll be a close game. It'll look more convincing, but it'll be a close scoreline. Then we have Liverpool and Leicester, which is probably the game of the week, unless you have your own team playing, of course, that's always the game of the week for a fan. But the general consensus game of the week, I think, would be Liverpool versus Leicester. And I think, I don't know, man, Jamie Vardy, you can't stop him, right? I say that week in, week out, you can't stop the Vardy party. And Liverpool probably don't have Trent for, a month. I don't know how long it is. I think it's over a month maybe. And they're not looked very convincing. Man City gave them a tough game. I thought they would be more comfortable with it, but it was some kind of really crazy football in the first half last week between Liverpool and Man City. So you can't write off Liverpool. You never can. And Leicester have already beaten Man City very convincingly, and I wouldn't be surprised if they beat Liverpool very convincingly, but I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw. I think Liverpool don't have Trent, Van Dijk, and that's tough, when you don't have half of your back four. And yes, they're making do with what they've got, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to look like the same team. And I think Leicester's going to draw or win. I somehow don't see Liverpool winning this, frankly speaking, even though, they would be the favourites even a month back. Of course, things change. So I think Leicester and Liverpool will be a 1-1 draw. It won't be goalless. There'll be goals, but I think it'll be a draw. And then we have Manchester United versus West Brom. And I know I'm smiling this week because we had a very convincing win against Everton. I mean, it wasn't a dominating performance. I think we had the game in control for most of the game. But and towards the end, we kind of added a little cherry on the top with the third goal. It was mostly going to be a 2-1 game really, but then they pushed forward and then we countered them and scored a final goal in extra time. But I think we were solid. I think this week we were quite. I can't complain really. We were a little shaky for 15 minutes. Bernard and Calvert-Lewin were giving us trouble, and I don't know why Harry Kane has to be the free man. I don't know why he doesn't take the long balls up top, and instead of putting Lindelof is shorter than him. Harry Maguire has more ups. He can jump higher. I don't understand why they do that, and that's how we kind of gave away the first goal, the only goal Everton got. But they of course righted the ship and then went on to win eventually. So that's good. And we're taking on West Brom. And listen, West Brom are terrible. I mean, with all due respect, they've just not got running yet, and I don't see anything different. I think Bruno Fernandes is going to run through them. I wouldn't be surprised if he finally gets his hat trick either. I'm going to say at least 3-0. At least 3-0. West Brom are not good. I'd be surprised if they get score less than 3, but at the same time, we're so inconsistent with our performances, it wouldn't be a surprise, but I think we should get 3 past them for sure. Personally speaking, West Brom are not that good this year. Then we have Tottenham and Man City, and now this is going to be my hot take for the week. I think throughout the years, Man City, Tottenham, you're going to favor Man City, but I'm going to go ahead and say that Tottenham are the favorites for this game, this week, this year. I think they're going to eke out a 1-0 victory, much like they did last week. A late 1-0 maybe, or just a 1-0 in general. I think Man City just don't look the same. I don't know what's going on with Pep Guardiola, and only time will tell. But I think as of now, I think Tottenham are the more informed team. They're rising up through the table as we speak. And I think they're going to get the win over Man City, actually, if I'm being honest. But I think it's going to be a very narrow one. I won't even be surprised if it's a goalless draw. Depends on how everyone's set up, right? It's a Pep versus Jose clash all over again. So you don't know what to expect. Probably very defensive from Spurs, I think. I think they'd be happy to eke a 1-0 victory over Man City. And I think that's what they're going to get. And then our final match of the week. We got Leeds versus Arsenal. Marcelo Bielsa. Every week I wax lyrical about him, but the truth of the matter is he's on a 2-match losing streak now. The scorelines look a lot more flattering than the game was, but at the end of the day the score does count, because at the end of the day it does impact your defensive abilities, right? When you get past your defensive line and score goals, it all counts. All the goals count. They had a very unfortunate event where Bamford had his shirt offside. I mean, the offside rule is ridiculous anyway, so I don't want to get into that. And then to top it off, they had a own goal like a few minutes before the first half, and it just deflated them. But they came out and they still charged through. Couldn't get through. Crystal Palace scored another one, and Eberechi Eze's free kick was crazy good. Meslier couldn't do anything about that. So it's all in context, I know they've lost 2 games, but they fought back. They fight. They press. Marcelo Bielsa wants to press every team. That's what I've realized. It's not like he doesn't have tactics, but his intent is to get the best out of the opposition, because he's trying to force them to make decisions, make mistakes. He's enforcing his style by pressing them constantly, and I don't see that stopping. And I think Arsenal are so defensively in shambles a lot of the time that don't be surprised if that's just what happens again. And I predict that Leeds are going to get back on track against Arsenal. Arsenal had a terrible midweek game in the Europa League, I think, too. I think they lost to Molde. I think so. So I think don't be surprised if Leeds just gets the better of them, I wouldn't be. So I'm going to just go a tight affair, maybe a 2-1 to Leeds. I wouldn't be shocked though, because Leeds do play well on their day, and they've given probably every team they've played headaches from minute 1 to minute 90. So guys, that was another game week, another set of picks done. If you like this video, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Tell me which is your game of the week you're looking forward to the most in the comment section down below. And tell me your predictions of some of the games, or a game that you particularly want to watch. And I'll see you in the next one.